Welcome to North Central Technical College's HSED orientation. Congratulations on taking the first step to becoming an adult learner working on your HSED credential through NTC. Whether you are 18 or 80, walking through the door is the hardest part of the journey. When starting something new, you have lots of questions and concerns. Some common ones are, what are the rules? What will other people think of me? How will I find my way around? Who do I go to if I have questions? From this point on, you will have people and resources available to help answer your questions and guide you along the path toward your goal. So welcome to North Central Technical College. We're glad to have you with us. As children, we all grew up in different families with different support. Some may have been encouraged to go to school, while others were not. Some may have lived in a stable situation, while others may have moved regularly. One student shared that she had been in over 17 different schools before she just finally gave up going. Some may have grown up feeling safe and secure, while others were just focused on making it day by day. Some adults have shared that it was hard to learn when they were hungry or not sure if they would be safe when they got home. One even shared that he had been in a gang since he was 12 years old and that school was never a priority. Others have shared that they had the opportunity to get a job before they were able to finish school, and they needed to help their families financially or just to support themselves. Students have also had many different school experiences. Some were very bored in school and never felt challenged. Others have shared their frustration with learning in a school setting because sitting for long hours didn't work for them. Some liked school, but didn't like the social aspect. Some have never attended public school and been homeschooled. One gentleman shared what his experience in school was like. He stated that school had always been difficult for him, and that the older he got, the more embarrassed he was that he had difficulty reading. When the teacher would call on him to answer a question, he would hit the person sitting next to him just to get sent home from school. He shared that he was more comfortable being considered the mean kid than the one who couldn't read. When people walk through the doors, we often hear negative comments about past school experiences or about how they viewed themselves in school. This may not be true of you, but if it is, it's time to throw your past experiences and perceptions out the window. As a child, you did not have much say in your education or in your life circumstances. It is a new day and you are a different person. You are an adult learner. It's time to make this a great experience. Being an adult learner may look very different than anything you have experienced in the past. If you attended public school, imagine the challenge that your teachers had in trying to teach so many students of different academic levels, backgrounds, support systems, experiences, etc. Often teachers try to teach toward the middle of the class, hoping to engage and motivate the most students possible in the amount of time given. This can be frustrating for some students because the pace is too slow, and they get bored. Or for others, the pace is too fast, and they feel lost. Hopefully, additional materials and resources can be provided for both groups of students, but often, by the time the teacher realizes these things, the students have moved on to another class or another school. In this case, it would be true to say, one size does not fit all. Wouldn't it be great if we could individualize each and every learner's experience? Well, we are hoping to do just that. You have become an expert in you. After all, you have known yourself a long time. We look forward to you being an active participant in your learning and sharing your expertise. You know how you learn best. Do you like to read about things? Do you like to have someone explain things? Do you learn best by having someone show you? Are you a hands-on learner? What learning style works well for you? There are many theories regarding how we learn, but the three primary models are kinesthetic, auditory, and visual. It will be important for you to share what you know about your learning style with your instructors so they can try to find teaching methods that will work best for you. You will take a learning styles inventory at the end of this presentation. You will be asked to print it out and keep it for future reference. Remember that this is just another tool to better understand your learning style. So often in life, we focus on what we need to improve that we forget that there are things that we are awesome at. Wouldn't it be great to have a boss call you into his or her office and start the conversation with everything that you're doing right? Quite often we minimize these strengths because we feel others can do the same thing. We look at the other person's strengths and often wish we could do or be like them, while in reality, they're probably saying the same about you. Everyone has things that they are awesome at. For each of us, those things are going to be different. Some may be school-related, like being great at math, but many are not. Maybe you're an awesome listener. Maybe you can tear a car apart and put it back together. Maybe you have patience with children. Maybe you think things through before acting. Maybe you're an awesome cook. Take a moment to think about your strengths and write down at least 3. Albert Einstein once said, "Everybody is a genius, but if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." How boring life would be if we were all the same. Sometimes it's hard to recognize our own strengths. If you are having a hard time coming up with 3, think of words that family, friends, or co-workers would use to describe you. Be ready to share these with your advisor when you meet or talk after this presentation. Meet Kid President, otherwise known as Robbie Novak. Although this young man has suffered over 70 broken bones due to a condition that causes him to break easily, he doesn't let that hold him back. Robbie's strength is in motivating people to be more awesome.
It's time to wake up, people! This one goes out to teachers and students. It's time to get on, learn on. And we got a lot to learn, too. I don't know it all, but I know a few things. Science. You hear? You take up space, you matter. It's just science, man. Don't be a bully. Don't even be a bully to the bullies. It just makes more bullies. We can all be awful sometimes. We can all also be awesome. It's time to be more awesome. And that's what it's time for. History. We gotta study it so we don't repeat it. But if history does repeat itself, then I'm gonna name my pet dinosaur Reginald. I just hope he doesn't eat me. We can't just study history, we gotta make history. And history's made by ordinary people. Ordinary people like you and me. And that guy. The world's greatest thinkers. Confucius, Albert Einstein, Justin Timberlake. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like me. But I put my pants on one leg at a time while I'm dancing. You can go by. Yeah. You're gonna be in the video though. Life's a school, and you gotta show up. You can't just sleep in. You can't be late. And you can't just hang out in the bathroom like girls. It's like what Whitman said, YOLO. Except he didn't say that, but you would know that if you would read a book, people. Seriously, read a book, any book except the vampire ones. You wanna change the world? You gotta know about it. What if Shakespeare didn't go to school? His plays would be even more confusing. To be or not to be? Is that the question? I don't know what a question is. I didn't go to school. Anybody? Help me out here. I got a question for you. What are you teaching the world? How to be boring? How to make the world sad? No, you're not. We're teaching the world what it looks like to be awesome. No matter who you are, somebody's learning from you. Everybody's a teacher and everybody's a student. Look for the awesome. Teachers see things. They see when you're running down the hall. They see when you're passing notes. But they also see the person that we can all become someday. A writer or a speaker or Martin Luther King. Teachers, keep teaching. Students, keep studenting. That's not a word. Sorry about that. Here's to teachers that see the awesome. The homework is this. What do you want to teach the world? Do it. Let's make some history together because it's simple math. Together, we're better. Those girls are a little too loud. Is there a teacher who inspires you? Let them know. This is for teachers everywhere, so share it with them. We gotta make the world awesome. Somebody's learning from you. I'm out. Get to learn on. We're making history. I'm gone.
Awesome.
Would you build a house on this foundation? Probably not. When I look to remodel a house, I want to be sure it has a firm foundation before I start doing any work on the rest of the house. Without a firm foundation, everything else is unstable. Sometimes we have cracks in our educational foundation. These could have been caused by any number of reasons, like moving schools, not attending regularly, not understanding an earlier skill, etc. Whatever the cause, it is good to strengthen the foundation skills before building new skills on top if needed. I remember being excited when we moved that our new math class was using the same book as our previous school. However, they were studying different chapters. The new school gave an initial assessment in math, and it was decided to move my brother into the higher level math class that was studying algebra. The only difficulty was that he had never studied pre-algebra. He found the class difficult, not because he couldn't do it, but because he did not have the previous knowledge to be successful. The solution was to go back and review pre-algebra skills. Everyone has different strengths and learning styles. If you have a disability or suspect that you may, your first step to setting up needed accommodations or to discuss questions would be to contact the Director of Disability and Testing Services. Letting go of past habits and perceptions can be difficult. However, you are now the adult and are driving the bus. So what are some good habits of successful learners? It is important to ask questions if you do not understand something or need help. Your instructor is not a mind reader, although it would be a nice strength to have. Your instructor is your partner. It is important to have two-way communication. If something is not working or you are frustrated, talk to him or her. Don't walk away without exploring options. There may be different tools or different methods that you are not aware of unless you ask. Having a positive attitude only encourages others to want to help when they know that you are trying as well. Keep an open mind. Did you know that research shows that on average it takes 66 days for a behavior to become a habit? Creating a habit is a process. We have to be careful not to expect change overnight. One step to creating a habit is to establish a routine. I know a young man that was taking an online class while working full-time. Knowing myself, I would have struggled with not having a given time to be in class, so I asked him how he successfully managed to get his work done on time. He told me that before his class started, he picked one night that he usually didn't have any other activities. He told friends and family that he had a class on that night, so they would know that he would be busy. Then he would block off at least 3 hours and set an alarm to keep him on task. He said he was amazed at how much he was able to accomplish in that amount of time. Typically, that was enough to keep him on top of all his work and assignments. He also shared that if something came up on his school night that he wanted to do, he would swap it with another night later that week. Maybe this philosophy would work for you in setting up a regular schedule. We all have busy schedules which include necessities like sleeping and eating, but also may include work, family, friends, hobbies, etc. There are only 24 hours in a day, so it is important to be real with ourselves and what we can do. Otherwise, we would be setting ourselves up for disappointment. I would rather see someone tell me that they are committing to work in the College Prep Center 1 day a week than to say that they are coming in every day that the center is open. Not to say that some people may not be able to make that happen, but if you are successful in coming in 1 day a week, wouldn't it be great to celebrate that success and change your goal to 2 days a week? If I told you that my goal was to become President of the United States by next year, you might laugh. I am being very specific and time-bound, but I'm not sure how attainable and relevant it is at this point in my life. I'm not saying I should give up the dream of becoming president, but I might want to set a goal that is a bit more attainable. Maybe my goal could be to become mayor of my city by the next election. I could even break that goal into smaller steps so I see progress along the way. Take this time to write one school goal and one work goal. We will use these on your personal education plan form that you will be filling out. Have you ever ridden on a school or city bus? When you hop on the bus, you're trusting that that driver is going to get you safely to your destination. Maybe you have had that feeling about past school experiences. You might have felt that you had little or no choices in what or how you learned, that someone else was making the decisions, and that you were only along for the ride. If that was true, things are about to change. As an adult learner, you are no longer the passenger. You are now in the driver's seat. However, I would feel a little nervous putting you behind the wheel of a bus without giving you some directions, lessons, and practice. Your instructor or instructors will be acting as a personal GPS, providing guidance along the way. They will be there to provide instruction and direction, but ultimately it will be up to you to get to your destination. To help you navigate, it will be important to gather some information. For a GPS system to work, it needs to know your current location. Where are you? The same will be true for you. It will be important to know where your skills are currently. What do you already know before you start this process? Your instructors will help you determine this through various assessments. If you were to take your car to a mechanic, you wouldn't want him or her to continue replacing parts until they ultimately found the piece that needs working on. You would probably prefer that they did some diagnostic work to find any problem areas and then get to work. This saves time and money in this case. Your diagnostic work begins with foundation skills in mathematics, reading, and language. These will be assessed during the orientation process through something called the TABE tests. These 3 tests are the building blocks that are important to all of the GED subject areas. Remember that these initial assessments are there to help. For example, it would be pretty intimidating to study all that is math. However, through these initial assessments, we might narrow down the need to review or learn how to multiply fractions. These assessments are not graded. They are used as a diagnostic tool to find out what you already know and to help your instructors zero in on any area or areas that you could focus on strengthening or improving. The other information a GPS needs is to know what is your ultimate destination. It might be helpful to know the reasons behind why you're headed there. Some of you may have a specific reason to be completing your GED or HSED. People that have attended orientation in the past have shared such reasons as a family member or significant other is encouraging them. They feel that they have left something unfinished and have regrets. Some need it to keep a job or to apply for a better one. They are doing it to set an example for their own children. Some have future plans that are dependent on getting that piece of paper. One student shared that he had to immediately go to work to support his family when he became a father at age 16. He is now retired and coming back to do this for himself. You should have been in the room when he got to use a computer for the first time in his life. He joked that he couldn't wait to go home and borrow his grandchild's computer so he could check his email. For others, this might only be the next step in their journey. Students have shared plans to do things like diesel mechanics, nursing, dairy science, surgical technician, creating video games, making music videos, medical assistant, and social work, to name a few. These plans may or may not require further training or schooling. If so, one of the requirements to be eligible for financial aid funding is to have completed your high school, GED, or HSED credential. To determine admission requirements and financial aid eligibility, contact your school of interest. If you are not happy with your current job, don't have one, or are looking for a change, now is a great time to do some research to find out what might be a good fit or next step in your career path. Take time to do a little exploration and see what might be out there that would be a good fit to your strengths. You may be asking, how long will it take to get my GED or my HSED? You will notice that there is no arrival time or speed listed on the GPS. As we have been discussing so far, this is an individual journey. Each person is coming in with different knowledge and background. Each person has a different amount of time to dedicate to this journey. So the best answer to the question, how long will it take, is when you complete the requirements for getting your GED or HSED. The back of the Department of Public Instruction, DPI form, documents the various options. There are different types of HSED options, one being a 509 competency-based assessment. If you are viewing this PowerPoint, it is likely that your instructor has already discussed this option with you and you meet the eligibility requirements. The HSED 509 is an alternative to the GED program. It allows students to earn the HSED credential by completing a state-approved program that incorporates high school graduation required standards. There are a couple of reasons that students would complete the HSED 509 program. They may find that their current skills are not high enough to be tested in the GED test area, or they might have some extreme test anxiety and not have the ability to perform well on a high-stakes test. Your credential, once earned, will be a Wisconsin State-issued HSED high school equivalency diploma. To be eligible, you must be at least 18 and a half years old, or the class you were in during ninth grade has already graduated. You also must have lived in Wisconsin for at least 10 days. You also have to attend a GED orientation and complete the TABE assessments to determine if you're eligible for the HSED 509 program. The HSED 509 has 7 areas of study. Each area covers the state-designated competencies. So once you complete an area, you have completed that subject to the state specifications. You can work on one at a time or several at one time. Some people like to focus on one topic until it's complete, then move on. Others like to work on several, rotating materials so they don't get tired of one topic. Your pathway can be designed to fit your needs. The coursework for the HSED 509 will incorporate a variety of learning activities. These courses look a lot like traditional high school courses and will utilize a combination of teaching methods and materials. They are offered as in-person classes or as independent, self-paced courses in the College Prep Center. You'll have full access to instructors who are happy to help and see you succeed. Some courses will have tests and quizzes, but they will not be timed. You will have options such as classroom courses, online courses, or independent study courses. Remember, instructors are available to you throughout the whole process. For those that like facts and detailed information, the Communication Skills course will take you from basic grammar and punctuation to using current technology. You'll develop writing, listening, and communication skills. You'll also demonstrate your ability to create letters, memos, and reports. It may sound like a challenge, but remember, we're here to help. Social Studies includes 4 content areas, which are World History, U.S. History, Economics, and Geography. You'll read through the fascinating details of history while gaining geographical knowledge that correlates with historic events. You'll learn about supply and demand, market economy, production, inflation, and how all of this relates to the global economy and how it has impacted our history. The Science section focuses on 3 main content areas: life science, physical science, and environmental science. You'll learn how to apply the scientific method from observation through hypothesis. Math begins with whole numbers and works through algebra. You'll have lessons, practice problems, and quizzes to prepare you for the tests for every unit. Tests are not timed and oftentimes allow calculators. Scared of math? Don't worry, you're not alone. Our instructors are happy to help you make sense of it all. For the health section, you'll learn about each of these components: substance abuse, contraception, human growth and development, sexually transmitted infections, communicable disease, first aid, and healthy lifestyles. The material will discuss relationship health, emotional health, and other aspects of achieving and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. You'll learn all about the U.S. and local governments with civics. You'll come away with a full understanding of the workings of federal and local governments. Have you ever been confused about politics and the political process? This course will cover that. You'll also take an interesting look at the U.S. Constitution and economy. This section of the HSED 509 helps you study the job market and helps prepare you to enter it. By the time you finish this course, you will have created a resume, job application, and letter of application. Not only that, but you'll examine your own skills and interests to help you choose an individual career plan. You may already have a job. However, this information is very beneficial since your employability increases once you have your HSED. That means your HSED will give you many more opportunities for earning money. You'll want to be ready to seek out those opportunities. Did you know? The United States military requires an HSED or higher to enlist. College prep centers are available at different locations other than just the Wausau NTC campus. These include the regional campuses, Salvation Army, Wausau Job Center, and local jails. Although Wausau has the most available hours, let us know if it would be more convenient to attend another location, and we can share that location schedule with you. Remember, as a child, you didn't learn how to crawl, feed yourself, walk, and talk all at once. It was a learning process. It is the same as an adult. Don't expect to complete everything in 1 week. Set realistic goals and talk these over with your instructor. Remember, it is a process. If you share your expertise about you and we share our expertise in learning, together we can help reach your goal of completing your GED or HSED. After you complete your GED or HSED, it will be time to celebrate your accomplishments. Graduation is a time to invite friends and family to help recognize your hard work. Even if you have completed months before, or maybe are already a college student, it is still important to go through this milestone and be recognized. So please be sure to let us know when you have completed so we can be sure that you receive your invitation. I hope we were able to answer some of your questions about the GED HSED process. However, be sure to see your instructor with any questions that you might still have. The Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction requires documentation of completing your orientation. To meet Wisconsin HSED requirements, this DPI form will need to be filled out and signed by both you, the student, and your instructor, documenting your completion of the GED orientation. NTC looks forward to celebrating your accomplishments with you. See you at graduation!